So, for show and tell, let's see, what have I been doing? So, I've spent time this week, I mentioned this during the last stream, one of the Bach's chorales, that it is a sort of a snippet from some of his liturgical music, which is this right here. Nu komm der Heiden Heiland, which is German for now come, Savior of the heathens. And so this is this actually looks a little more complex than it turned out to be. Because what this is four distinct voices. It's a harmonic chorale, meaning there are four different voices, each voice potentially carrying a song in its own right, that all harmonize together and form a complete thing. So I broke it out. Sorry, that's why I have this up here. I broke it out, wrote it out. Here are two voices, which you can see there. That's the treble top staff there. And then there is the evening mahafun, the bass staff, which has two distinct voices. If you can see there, I made sure to highlight them different colors. Pardon. So I could tell them apart. And they follow a logic when you're looking at them. There's a consistency to what each voice is doing from measure to measure. And yeah. So breaking out into four distinct voices and then kind of experimenting with it to see how they all fit together. And I'm going to show you something that I made. It could be a little tighter in some spots, but it gets the idea across, which is three recordings that are laid on top of each other. One with the dominant voices, the melody voices, which are the top staff there. Then a second run through, and this is about 30 seconds long, so it's not an involved listen outside of the intensity of it. Then there's the first supporting voice in the bass staff, and then the second supporting voice in the bass staff. Then I'm going to show you what those two sound like together, so you can get an idea of what's going on underneath the melody, and then we'll play them all together. They line up pretty well. I'm not used to playing against myself, so there are a couple of times where it sort of falls out of alignment, but for the most part, there are just a few notes there. So here's what that looks like. Let's see if I get this right. So yeah. This is the melody. Now this is the first supporting voice. This is the second supporting voice. Here are the supporting voices together. And here's everything under the melody. and you get to hear the simultaneous creaking of 3 of my banjo straps, which are it's a nice leather one that I picked up to brace my shoulder better. And so that is Evening Mexican Sting, and Evening Dan, Evening Arc. That song is this, Nu Komm der Heiden Heiland, a piece of liturgical music. And so that's all 3 of those voices. The melody track there is actually 2 voices in one, but because it's a lot of pinching, it's easy enough to do on the banjo just on its own. So takeaways from that, counterpoint is exquisite. There's, the idea of having an interval between notes, always present, always harmonizing, and always talking to each other, sort of in the cracks of each other's statements, is beautiful, both as an intellectual exercise, and then when you actually get to hear it and feel it, sort of in your bones, it's very powerful. I think there's nothing else like it. It's one of my favorite things. So now we're going to go to another one of my favorite things, which is Snake.